don't need an introduction for the next speaker. I'm going to let Imam Siraj take over. Jazakumullah khairan. Please give a hand for Imam Siraj.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brothers and sisters, I am very grateful and thankful to Allah the Almighty to have the privilege of being here tonight to witness this wonderful experience. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said to his companions, would that I can meet my brothers. One narration, would that I can see my brothers. Aren't we your brothers? You're my sahaba. My brothers will come after me in Saskatoon. Those are my words. They will believe in me, though they have not seen me. You are the fuel. What I mean by that? Does anybody know the slogan of the Marines? Have you ever heard of the Marines? Does anyone know the slogan of the Marines? Yes. The fuel. The fuel. The pride. The Marines. Most of the people, they don't believe. You're blessed. You believe. Some people have said that seeing is believing. I disagree with that. Not seeing is believing. Seeing is affirmation. You are the fuel. Can I tell you one of the greatest examples of the fuel? Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, in a private conversation with his wife Sarah. Ya Sarah, laysa ala wajhi mu'min ghayri ghayruki. Oh Sarah, there is not one believer on the face of the earth other than you and me. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam told his son Ismail that Allah has ordered me to build his house. Will you help me? And he did. The fuel. Now look at the most expensive building in the world. A Kaaba. Masjid Haram, $100 million. 5 million people will visit that house in 1 year. House that Abraham built. The fuel. 2,500 people clean that masjid every day. Thousands of planes fly. Thousands of buses. Hotels around everywhere. Businesses everywhere. Because Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, the fuel. And we now the followers of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. If you study hadith literature, you will find out there are a number of places that Allah asks questions. Allah never asks a question because He don't know the answer. He asks a question to teach a lesson. Allah asks His angels, they're all around. Can we see them? No. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, Ya Aisha, hada Jibril, yaqru alayhi salam. Here is the angel Jibril, he gives you salam. She said, alayhi salam wa rahmatullah. Tara ma la arah. You see what I don't see. But she believes. Allah asked the question to the angels, what are my servants saying? Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. Allah asks the angels, how are honey? Do they see you? No, they don't see you. What are they asking for? They're asking for your Jannah. Do they see the Jannah? No. Don't see the Jannah. They believe. What are they seeking refuge from? They're seeking refuge from the hellfire. Why? Do they see the hellfire? No, we believe. It's part of our faith. Not seeing is believing. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, Tina Turner asked a question. You know Tina Turner? You do know. She said, what does love have to do with it? Everything. لا تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحبوا. You never go to Jannah until you believe, and you never believe until you love one another. Do you love one another? Let's see. I was at the Newark airport a couple of years ago, and I was in a terminal, and I was in the wrong terminal. Trying to figure out how do I get to that terminal. A car came and said, do you need help? I said, yes, I have to go to such and such terminal. He said, get in the car. First thing he said to me, Assalamu alaikum. There was nothing about him to make me think he's Muslim. There's nothing. He could be the best Muslim in the world, but no obvious signs. He didn't have a kufi, he didn't have a beard, he didn't wear a kameez. But he said, I am a Muslim from Saudi Arabia. And me and my wife have been married for years and never had children. Can you make dua to Allah if we would have children? I look like a Muslim. I have a beard, I have a kameez, I have a kufi. I could be the worst person in the world. But he asked a total stranger. He didn't recognize Imam Siraj Wahhaj. No, Muslim. He will never know for 2 weeks. Every night, I begged Allah to help that man and his wife have children. I'll never know. I go to Memphis, Tennessee, maybe the next week or a few weeks later, and maybe there was a brother that heard something. He said, Imam Siraj, me and my wife have been married for years and never had children. Can you make dua? I did. Same thing. 2 weeks in a row. I go back to Memphis the next year. That same brother comes to me with a baby in his hand. And put the baby in my arms and said, Imam, thank you for your dua. I go back to New York, 7-Eleven, owned by Muslims, manager Muslim. He said, Imam Siraj, me and my wife have been married for years. Never had children, can you make dua? I said, yeah, I got this. The human being was right. And I prayed. Oh. 2 days later, I said, anything yet? I said, no. And I got tired of fasting, so I stopped. 7 months later, I said, anything yet? She said, yes, my wife is pregnant. And when she had the baby, they sent me a picture of the baby. Now don't get me wrong. I don't want you to line up after this talk. I'm not doing that. That's not my point. The point is, do you love one another? He wants us to love one another. Not just from the same country, the same color, same language. There's 7,000 languages in the world. But do you love one another? What does love have to do with it? Everything. Umar radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, anta habbu ilayya min kulli shay'in illa nafsi. You are more beloved to me than anything except myself. لا أمة والذي نفسي بيدي حتى أكون أحب إليه من نفسك. No, Ummah, you don't have real faith until I am more beloved to you than even yourself. Ummah's response, الآن يا رسول الله أنت أحب إليه من نفسي. Now you are more beloved to me than even myself. Question is, do we love one another? I asked one of the students we study together every week. I said, if you had one wish, what would you wish for? He thought for a moment and said, man, I would wish that me and my family go to Jannah. I said, I thought you would say that. No matter how much you think you love the Prophet, and I've heard it tonight expressed all of it, I believe you love the Prophet. I believe every one of you love the Prophet, for sure. I have no doubt about it. But I've come here tonight to tell you that no matter how much you think you love the Prophet loved us more than he loved us, than more than we love him. The Prophet ﷺ said all the prophets was given a dua that Allah would answer. He said they rushed, every one of them rushed to make their dua, and the Prophet ﷺ saved his Yawm al-Qiyamah. Why? He said about his ummah, for shafa'ah, for his ummah. Do you know that every once in a while, in the hereafter, the people in Jannah will be able to see the people in hell, and the people in hell will be able to see the people in Jannah? So the people in Jannah will say, let's set up a come to supper. What has landed you in the hell? We're not those who used to make salah. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? When the Prophet went to the heavens to get the instruction, how many prayers did Allah tell him to make? 50. فرجعت بذلك حتى مررت على موسى. He got doing till he ran to Musa. I said, what? What you know what? 50 prayers. No. فرجت إلى ربك إن أمتك لا تطيق ذلك. Your ummah can't do that. So the Prophet goes back, and Allah reduces it back and forth until there's 5. Musa said, فرجت إلى ربك إن أمتك لا تطيق ذلك. Go back and ask your Lord to reduce it. Your ummah will not be able to do that. Was he right? I told you this, brothers and sisters. It's belief, it's faith. We have a big job to do. This religion is real. We are grateful to be followers of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. Every once in a while, something happens in life that is a big lesson. May 25th, 2020. Give an example. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Unsur akhaka zaliman and madluman." Help your brother if he's an oppressor or oppressed. And the man said, Ya Rasulullah, I help him if he's oppressed. How do I help him if he's the oppressor? Stop him from the oppression. What happened May 25th, 2020? Minneapolis. George Floyd, a black man, arrested supposedly for giving a counterfeit money. Derek Chauvin, a police officer, puts his knee on his neck for 9 minutes. And George Floyd said, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And he dies. What happened? Minneapolis City had to pay his family $27 million. Derek Chauvin was convicted in state court of murder, 21 years. Convicted in federal for violating civil rights, 20-something years. But the 3 officers were also arrested and convicted for murder. No, aiding and abetting. They didn't stop them. All they had to do was say, Derek, that's enough, Derek. That's enough, Derek. It's too much. No more. Simple. And because they didn't do it, everybody suffered. 2,500 demonstrations around the world. We demonstrated too. Us, and the Muslims, we did. We were online. Albert Einstein said that the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch and do nothing. Sounds like a hadith. Martin Luther King Jr. said we all came here in different ships, but we're in the same boat. The Prophet ﷺ gave the example of bad people and good people in the boat. And the bad people began to drill a hole in the boat. He said, if you stop him, you save him and yourself. If you let him go, you destroy him and you destroy yourself. That's what I'm talking about. We're the followers of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and not seeing is believing. May Allah bless this conference. It's a wonderful organization and all the good that you do. I have one request, one complaint, if you would, to the Muslims. I believe you love each other. Believe you love Islam, the Quran, the Prophet, Allah, all of that. I believe that. But my biggest concern is our lack of effort to the people, to bring this message to the people. How many of you heard of Malcolm X? Hajj Malik Shabazz. Many people told me that they accepted Islam after reading his autobiography. Did you know, according to the FBI, every year 350,000 inmates take Shahada? They're there already. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Imam Siraj have something in common. What is it? Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Imam Siraj Wahhaj have something in common. What is it?
Incarcerated?
No, I was incarcerated. Don't you ever say that again. Or I will incarcerate you. No, yes. Yes. We started out in what's called the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam headed by Elijah Muhammad. We thought it was Islamic, but didn't realize until 1975, Elijah Muhammad died, his son took over and lead us to Sunni Islam. You can argue about the Aqidah of the Nation of Islam, you can. So it's not the right Aqidah, you would be right. But you can't dispute their work in the community. I'll give you 2 examples. I was speaking to the Sheikh earlier today. I quit my job to sell a 25-cent newspaper called Muhammad Speaks. I went by myself and sold 1,000 papers a week. I knocked on thousands of doors because I believed that what we had was the truth. I was telling Sheikh Mikael, one day I'm walking down the street in Eastern Parkway and I look in a building and I see 2 young men standing in the middle of the hallway. And we were always observing. I said to myself, he's gonna try to rob me. I'm asking this audience, should I go into that building or go to another building? Tell me.
Going to the gate.
Huh?
Going.
Go. I should go. You wouldn't go, but you want me to go. I decided to go in. The guy on the right, mean looking. And the other one to the left, a little bit reasonable. And I went and I confronted them. And the reasonable one, I said, what's the matter with you guy here? I took a Muhammad Speaks newspaper, put it under his arm. And the other one, put it under his arm. I said, all right, give me 25 cents. So I was my witness. The guy on the right, the mean one, took out a gun and said, you just can't rob a Muslim. With his gun back in his pocket and gave him 25 cents. And the other one gave me 25 cents for the paper. Because the Nation of Islam didn't have the right aqidah, but they had cred, street credibility. And the people understood that the brothers in the Nation of Islam loved them. Imam Talib, the masjid in Harlem, told me one day there was a black woman with a hood on walking down the street of in Harlem, and there were two men following her. So she picked up her pace a little bit. They picked up their pace. She started to jog. They started to jog. She started to run. They started to run. And when they were just about to grab her, her hoodie fell off, revealing the kimar. And they stopped. Said, sister, be sorry. Sister, be sorry. Nation of Islam. Why? Because they went to the people, knocked on doors. I told one of the captains years ago when I was in the Nation of Islam, I said, can you get me a bus? He said, for what? We didn't call it dawah, we called it fishing. I said, I want to go fishing. I want to go after my people. He got me a bus. We driving around. We came to a park. I said, there. I saw a crowd of 13 black young men. I went to them and said, Islam is the religion for black people. Get in the bus. And they got in the bus. Yeah. And we took them to the temple. You see, when I became Sunni Muslim, I don't like the term Sunni, but you know what I mean. I became Muslim. You know what I actually did? You go look in the newspaper. Every newspaper in the world covered it. We closed down 12 crack houses, dope houses on the block of Master Miftaah. 40-day anti-drug campaign. We stood in front of the crack houses and told people, no more drugs sold here. The people of Saskatoon, Canada, North America have to see the Muslims who we are. 1,400 years ago, he went to the people. And look, you talk about Abu Bakr, you talk about Umar, you talk about Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, all of them you talk about. None of them are Muslims. Look what they became. Giants. You're good in the masjid. You're good with classes. Good. But we're not good with going after the people. The Nation of Islam did. And because of it, Allah guided us to Islam. 1975, with the death of Mr. Elijah Muhammad, his son took over and guided us to Islam. One person could make a difference. My position, some of you may hate the people from the Nation of Islam today. Minister Farrakhan, the Nation of Islam. Me, I talk to them. Always inviting them. Always inviting them to the deen. As a result of that, a number of them now have taken shahada and practice Islam. Don't give up on them. My position is, if Allah can guide us, He can guide them. So alhamdulillah, for the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, we love him. He loves us more. Allahumma ummati, ummati, wabakah. He cried, oh Allah, my ummah, and he cried. Why he crying? We have work to do. So brothers and sisters, I conclude with saying, No, seeing is not believing. Not seeing is believing. I would like to see us more. If I had one desire, one wish, I would like to see us more going after the people. The people in Canada, the people around the world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, bless your families, bless this conference, and may Allah bless all of us, inshallah, to unite in Jannah with the Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam at the end of time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.